Okay, so let's begin. Thanks for joining us. My name is Daniel Rubim. I'm the head of institutional relations at the Consulate-General Honorary of Luxembourg in São Paulo. And this is Luxembourg in Culture Cinema. This is the first debate of a series around topics concerning Luxembourg. So before this one, we had one in June to talk about the art market, which originated the series. And future themes are sustainability, technology, culture, logistics, business, and many other. I'd like to thank the presence of Consul General, Mr. Jan Eichbaum, and to thank Paul Tiltge's distribution, who put me in contact with Adolf Al Assal, and Filmfund Luxembourg, who put everyone in contact. Filmfund is the Luxembourg agency for funding cinema. I'd also like to thank the São Paulo state government for organizing the first International Cinema Virtual Festival, or in the original title, Primeira Mostra Internacional de Cinema Virtual de São Paulo, where the Consulate-General is proud to bring to the public the film Sawah, or how Adolf was like.
Sawah in Arabic.
Sawah.
Yeah.
That's better. So, I noticed that I'm highlighted, so I'll take it off so people can see you as well.
Okay, cool.
The movie premieres today at 10 p.m. São Paulo time, which is GMT -3. So in Luxembourg will be about 3 a.m.
Yeah.
But it will still be available until Wednesday the 30th. Of course, I would really like to thank Adolf for collaborating, for arranging all the material and being very generous to be with us today and to be with us at the festival. So thank you very much. And of course, to everyone watching this talk. So I'd like to introduce the guest today. Adolf is the director of the film Sawah and was born in Egypt in 1981. Please do correct me if something is not right.
Yeah, that's right.
Adolf spends most of his early life between the United Arab Emirates, the United Kingdom, and Luxembourg. In 2008, his first feature film as a producer, Division Z, or Divisions?
Just Divisions.
Divisions, was selected at the Berlin International Film Festival and was selected at over 100 festivals and sold in more than 30 territories. In 2010, he directed the award-winning short films The Notorious Road and In God's Hands. In 2014, he completed his first feature film directorial effort, The Notorious Guy, that he produced, directed, and successfully distributed in French-speaking countries. Sawah is his second feature film, released internationally in 2019, which we had the honor to have with us in São Paulo at the festival. And Eddie, as he's also known, is also a Berlinale talent, as well as an European audiovisual entrepreneur alumni. Eddie, without further ado, I would like again to thank you, and please, the floor is yours. Talk about how it was to produce Sawah, about the movie itself.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for this introduction. With this film, with Sawah, the idea came to my mind when I actually graduated university. I did a master's degree in filmmaking I finished in 2008 in England, in the UK. And I had this idea to create a story how my parents, they came by mistake to Luxembourg, because they never intended to come there. They never heard of this country before, just did a trip around Europe for fun and so on. And then suddenly my mom, she fell in love with this country, and they stayed here and they started their life from scratch. And there was no exact reason why they came, basically. And then I also always want to tell that story. And then of course, like I tried to find a way to fund it and so on. And it was very, very difficult because I was a young filmmaker, I was starting out and so on. So I did the traditional way of doing first short films, then a few documentaries. I was working for TV and so on. And then in 2014, I took that idea back again. And I said, come on, like I'm gonna try to tell that story because it's really something that's where I'm, yeah, like I'm passionate about, and where I can like there's so much personal things that I wanted to tell. So I pitched it to the Filmfund in Luxembourg, and straight away they supported the project. They really liked the idea of this person coming to Luxembourg by mistake, and to discover this new place, learning all those different cultures, and playing a lot with stereotypes. So the Filmfund, they supported me to write the script first of all. And then over the next 5 years, I was then writing, developing the whole project, and the project then became what it became now. And at the beginning, it was a bit more dramatic because it wasn't meant to be a comedy as it is now. But then step by step, it became a comedy because I figured out that comedy is something that I like. Okay, and I was told, like I was always told that comedies, they don't travel. So I wanted to prove people wrong. And coming from Luxembourg, so we have the privilege to grow up with so many different cultures, like the English-speaking culture, German-speaking culture, French-speaking culture, and then my own origins, like the Arabic-speaking culture. So so that's something that I really wanted to put into the script. And then I got in touch with with a writer from Canada called Dennis Foon, and because I really wanted to have an international feel to the story, because I had some, as I said, like I had always this fear that, like people always told me that comedies don't travel. So that's why I took Dennis on board to co-write the story then with me. And with him together, we managed then to do something that has like an international feel and still be local somehow. And that's how the whole story started. And the Filmfund, like they support us from day one and until the end. So so I did the film we shot it in the winter of 2018. And I was very lucky with my cast, for example. Like I got like really a dream cast that I really wanted. Like for my main character, the guy who's playing Samir, he's an Egyptian actor called Karim Assem, who's actually very famous in Egypt and also all over the Arab world. So he also, like when he read the script, like he loved it so much, he said, man, I want to play in this, like whatever it costs, because it's also a dream for actors from the Arab world to go outside the region. So I was very lucky with him because I really wanted his profile, someone who speaks many languages, who's educated, who's open-minded. So him as a person, so that was for us easy, like really for him to play that part, basically. And then also I got in touch with Erika Bongo, who's playing Daniel. That's a Belgian actor who's actually more famous outside of Belgium than in Belgium itself. So he got very famous in Germany over the past few years, where he played in a film called Willkommen bei den Hartmanns, which I think it's like 20 million people went to watch it at cinemas in Germany alone. So it's one of the top films ever in Germany, and he became super, super famous there. So I approached him as well. When he was shooting actually a film in Luxembourg, like he was shooting a Belgian film, a French-Belgian production, I think, like in Luxembourg. I approached him and he liked the script as well so much. And then I was able to get everyone else around it quite easily. Also, the one who's playing Zepp, like the bad guys in the story, is a very famous Belgian actor called Jean-Luc Couchard. Like I wrote the part for him actually. Oh, and like because he plays always bad guys, like, and so I approached him like a few years ago, like before we started shooting, and the first thing he told me, nah, I don't want to play bad guys anymore. I'm tired of all those roles. So I gave up, and then a few months like before we started shooting, I approached him again because I really wanted him somehow. And they said, okay, come on, okay, like stop bothering me, let me read it and I'll let you know. So I sent him the script. A few hours later, he calls me and said, I've never read something so crazy like this before, I will play in this whatever it costs. You have my you can rely on me. And then I had the same thing also with another actor, like the one who's playing Ramsey, the guy in the bus. He's also a Belgian actor. Same thing. I wrote the parts for him. He didn't accept like at the beginning, and then because Jean-Luc Couchard he accepted, he called this other actor and he persuaded him to read the script. He read it, and then they came on board as well. So it was really a really fun ride, trying to get like some sort of like a dream come true, because I really got the people I really wanted, and also with the Luxembourgish cast as well. Like I have a Portuguese actor called Nilton Martins, who's actually one of our top actors in Luxembourg. He's an old friend of mine. We went together to school when I was young, and so on, and so on. So I was really, really lucky to get all those people together, and same thing with the crew. I had an amazing crew, like going from my director of photography for the camera and so on. Nikos Velter is also one of our top DOPs in Luxembourg. And then to costumes, to production design, sound. I was super, super lucky to get all those people. And music-wise, it was also quite a challenge because I wanted to have electronic music in the film. And for us, and I'm trying to approach some very famous electronic music producers, like some people, like I will not mention any names, but some are really, 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 really big. And some of them were interested, but they had no time because they were touring all the time. So it was hard for them to focus on that. Others, they completely gave up music. Or there were others, we couldn't simply afford them. They were just too expensive. So
yeah, and it's funny because you said lots of things that are very important to us. Like it's a very autobiographical work, so it's not just an imaginary story that cannot ever be real. No, it's like Luxembourg is this place of meeting people, or even by mistake being there, and then well, let's make it the best of what we have there. So it's real fun, and the music is very special as well. I just want to remind that people in São Paulo haven't seen the movie yet, so they still have to. We still have to lay the landscape before them. So. Can you tell me a bit? Can you tell us about a bit of the premise of the movie? Or what is it about that the story goes around? What starts all the narrative?
Yeah, like because the thing is, like as you said, like this, it's a bit autobiographical because some of the crazy situations that happen in the film actually happened to me in real life. Like I was myself a DJ as well, like years ago. I was once stopped also at the border in England where they didn't believe my identity, and so on. I had a party one day, like also in front of gypsies, and where I was like kidnapped somehow into a party. It's like also like long time ago. So there were lots of different things like that, and actually I forget to say, like the title of the film Sawah, it's one of the most famous Egyptian songs. It's called like that. And the song has different meanings because it tells a story about a guy who's dreaming about traveling and finding the love is at the same time having like the love for his roots, where he's coming from. So he wants to travel, but at the same time he always wants to go back home. And the word Sawah means the traveler or someone who is lost. So. Yeah. So that was that's why I decided to take that title, because the Arabic language as well is very poetic. So words, they can have many different meanings, and we have a very strong musical and film culture as well that a lot of people don't know about. And I wanted to have the original song for the film actually, but it was the budget of the movie. It was really impossible to get because it's so famous. And as soon as they heard European production and so on. The family from the writer and the composer and the record label, of course, and publishing house, like they all wanted to have a piece of it. So I said, no, like it's impossible that we have it. So at the end, because we didn't get the rights, so I talked to my friend Eric Bins, who's a composer in Luxembourg, but he's more into hip hop. Like he's never done any electronic music before, and he's a top producer. He works with some top artists, especially in France, with people like Ayam, Youssoufa. I don't know if you know those artists on your side, but they're really, really big. And the guy is an old friend of mine. He's worked with me in my first short films a long time ago, and we're always hanging around because we're always part of the hip hop scene here in Luxembourg and so on. So I called him up and told him, "Want to be part of this film?" At the beginning, he said, "Nah, I'm not really into electronic music. It's not my thing. Like I don't know. It's a challenge. It's way too big," and so on. And then, like months went by. Then that's why I approached those other people. Those other people, they said, "Oh no, I couldn't afford them." So he came back. He said, "Come on, okay, I'm gonna go up to this challenge, and I'm gonna work with you on it." Like, so let me read the scripts. He read the scripts, and then he figured out that, like in the film, there's this old song that needs to be like the old Egyptian song, and because we didn't get the rights to the original song, so he decided, and we decided together that he recreates somehow that old song using Egyptian instruments and rhythms, because it's completely different from the Western type of music. Okay, like the way how the is completely different. So he had to learn to go into that and do lots of research and to understand. And that's how then we come up together to create this old song, like this called Sawah, like in the film. And then using that song to create different versions of it, and to create the electronic version, to create hip hop version, to create more like instrumental version, acoustic versions, okay, that we used throughout the whole film. So the audience, when you watch the film, listen very carefully to the music, because you will figure out somehow like the sample of this old song that is there, that you hear there in the film, but you will hear it in different ways. So that was something that I really wanted to have in the film, like to have it like a red line throughout the film with the music, like that.
Yeah, this is one of the lines that conduces the film, right? Because for the audiences that haven't seen the film, a bit about it. It's not giving any spoilers, of course, because or else anyone wouldn't watch the movie. But the movie is about an Egyptian DJ. Please do correct me if I'm saying something that is not true, or if it isn't just my interpretation. But the movie is about an Egyptian DJ that is earns a prize to play in Belgium at a big festival, and he's very happy about that. It's a dream of him. And in the way Belgium in a general goes on a strike, and he lands on Luxembourg. And with that, he gets his documents a bit messed up. He loses it. He can't find it exactly when the police is asking for documents, so he's mistaken for a refugee. And then the movie starts with this adventure of meeting new people, of a very unexpected Luxembourg, because whenever people hear about it, they hear about big banks and big money and everything is so luxurious, and it's not that. It's not that. It's a place, it's kind of the heart of Europe, that many cultures get to meet each other there. So I love what you say about the Eastern and Western music. This is very strong for us, because it really shows in an elegant and not that explicit way how it can be the place where cultures meet, how it's people can hear a very traditional song in a very modern way, and in a Luxembourgish film. I'm kind of pitching Luxembourg here because it's my job, but I think I felt this as a viewer, as an ordinary viewer as well. The idea of bringing to modernity what is almost forgotten, and to pay homage to our ancestors as well, as you do with your semi-autobiography in this movie, as you pay homage to your parents, to all other immigrants, and brings a lot of important political questions as well. Egypt is in a revolution in the movie, and there's strikes on Belgium, which brings the politics of economics. So there are several layers of understanding this movie that it brings to the attention of the public some questions. And I think, well, as representative of Luxembourg, I was very happy to see that, even if whenever you see a comedy, you don't expect that. It's not, you're looking for the joke, you're looking for the punchline, and then the punchline is, well, you have to live. Well, people will have to see what the punchline is in the movie, right?
Yeah, because you said, like for us, that's why Luxembourg, we have a very specific identity. So something that I'm super lucky and super grateful that I grew up in this country here, because I speak 5 languages. I get to travel with my Luxembourgish passport throughout the world easily, and so on. So and also in the film, like I really wanted to show my part of Luxembourg, because I didn't grow up between banks and so on. Yes. So I grew up really in more working class type of environment. Okay, even though my parents, like my father is a pharmacist, and just small scoop, the guy who's playing the pharmacist in the film is my own father, actually.
Oh, okay. Right.
And we filmed with him also
Start in the family.
So actually, like we filmed in Egypt, the scenes in Egypt at the same place where he grew up with, like I didn't know, it was completely, like that was something that we didn't even know. And when he arrived there in Egypt and we shot there, he was so surprised that he recognized everything, and he was, "Whoa, then he asked me all the time, how did you know it?" So I didn't know, like it was just like by chance in Cairo, because Cairo is a huge city. Okay, and like what are the odds that we really found the exact streets where he grew up in, and so it was quite interesting. To have this like that. And also, like a small thing, like the film is not a political film, because that's something I really want to go into it. It was like the political context is just like a layer in there, just to add drama to the story. Okay.
But it's really well put. It's like that's where the elegance of putting the political matters are, because you don't get the flag of I'm against or I'm for this kind of movement, but it's like, this is happening in the world. You can't ignore, because it will affect you. Either way you face it, or you act it, or even if you don't act it, how it's going to affect you. So there's the political part. But I was curious as well as about your relation to Filmfund. If you could talk a bit more about how it was, this interaction. Earlier you said that they immediately embraced the project, and as Brazilians here have to still kind of get to know Luxembourg and get to know how things work. How was for you to imagine the movie and to have to get funds to it and go for it, and then find Filmfund? What were their involvement in the movie? It was just like, here's the money, or was, oh no, we have some consultancy? And I'm asking as a curious as well, because I haven't produced a movie in my life. So how was it? If I was a film producer, I would be very interested to know about it. How was the involvement of the agency?
Like with the Filmfund, because I have a specific relationship with them since I finished university, so they supported really my first films and so on since the beginning, which wasn't an easy task, because my type of filmmaking is not very auteur-like, let's say it like that. So if you watch my previous work, it always has like some sort of commercial edge, and we don't have, and in Europe in general, when you get public funding, it's more for smaller films, for festivals and so on. But then they saw something in me as a person, that I had so many stories to tell, that from my point of view would be very interesting, because I guess there's not many Arabs in Luxembourg that really, that have so many stories to tell in so many different ways. So they supported me really from the beginning. And then over the years, because like I'm also my own producer, so I produce also my own films, because I had always this issue not finding the right producer to work with me here, because people, they didn't understand my vision of the world, let's say it like that, or they didn't want to take the risk because of a guy like me. So that's why I decided then to go my own way. It was harder, it took longer really to build myself, to get the trust because of the Film Fund and also other people. And then when they saw that my first films, that I was able always to attract some audiences, especially local audiences, and also festivals, my films, they were always traveling, even though they have this commercial thing, but they were always traveling all over the world in festivals. And that's where they saw, whoa, okay, this guy is very interesting. Okay, and then since this film, because for, as I said, for me, I have many layers because I'm writer, director, and producer. So that's something usually it's a no-go, especially if your films, because there's so much money and it's dangerous to do it like that. And but in my case, they supported me first with writing and development, where I could do it myself. But when the phase came to finance the whole film, really to go to the where there's much more money and more technicalities on board, that's why they told me I had to take a local co-producer, okay, that is a bit bigger and stronger, so I can focus 100% on the creative side and they focus on the financing side. So I found this local co-producer that co-produced the film with me, so we divided the responsibilities together. And thanks to them, then I was able to do a film, and we got also more funding. It's on, just for information, it's an international co-production between many countries. So there was money from Belgium as well, and from Egypt and the Middle East. So we got the financing together, and I did the film. The Film Fund saw it. Then, funnily enough, 4 years exactly after they agreed to give me money for writing, on the same day. I still remember that date. It was the 11th of December 2014, where they gave me the first go for writing. On the 11th of December 2018, that's where I had the first screening for them internally of the film. Oh, so really, it was really on the day where they saw the film in the cinema and so on. And that was quite, it was quite they couldn't believe it themselves. What would be the odds that it would be like that? And they liked the film a lot. And they supported me then also for promotion, for going to festivals, for local release, because release is also in cinemas here in Luxembourg. Last year it was also quite successful for our local, because it's not such a big country, okay, but it was successful then. And then I also went to over 70 festivals around the world last year alone. I traveled myself personally. I was invited, I think, at least in 40 countries around the world, where almost everywhere except in Latin America. Okay, Latin and South America.
It's a shame we have this situation, or else we would have this chat on person with the Brazilian public. Oh, I just want to remind the public who is watching us. Afterwards, we have a session where you can ask anything if we can chat about. So please do write your messages on the chat, and then I'll bring to Adolf, or I'll answer myself if I'm able to. But carrying on. So you said that you asked for funding on 2014, and the first screening was in 2018. So 4 years of producing, and the first screening, internal screening. So 5 years from the inception to the actual premiere of the movie. It's quite a work. So how is this constant work of 5 years happening in cinema?
To make a film, it's like building a house. Okay, so there's so many things that you need to do, and for me, in my case, I wasn't never ready with the script. I had lots of doubts all the time. Because I think I wrote in total, 47 drafts of the script.
Wow, okay, 47.
So 47. Okay, so versions. because every version was like different, like because of the tone of the film, the color of the film. Sometimes it was super dramatic, because also back in 2015-16 there was this huge wave of like refugees coming from the Middle East, like
Yes.
you know, like from Syria especially and Iraq. So then suddenly like the script turned to be like a very dramatic refugee type of film, and then I was always asking myself, sometimes you're always in doubt because I'm so into it. Like I had so many ups and downs during the whole project, and sometimes I told myself, like, should I continue or simply leave it and work on something else? Then I had also some issues with my main actor, because I had a very famous Egyptian actor before that. We got into a fight a few months before we got into production. Then as I said, no, I'm not, because the guy has an ego just super crazy. And I said, no, I don't want to get this guy, bring him to Europe. He's going to drive us all mad. And then I said, no, let's forget it, and so on. So that brought some issues also with the financing, because the guy was so famous that we got a lot of financing from Egypt, but then the financing went away because he wasn't on board anymore. Okay, and so on. And so there were lots of ups and downs. And then suddenly I told myself, I'm going to stick to one version and that's it. And then I stuck to that version that you see now on screen. Okay, actually, and that was the one where I felt it has the right balance between the drama and comedy, and also the international feel and the languages and the type of film and so on. And that's how then, once I had this version, I stuck to it. That's where everything went much faster suddenly. And I was so happy that I could finally make the film as I wanted. And now, like I was myself very surprised, like that so many people could react to it, and I could travel all over the world. Like I traveled really like almost in every continent, going from China to the United States, all over Europe, all over the Middle East, in Africa. Like I don't know, like it was really something that was really a good feeling. If I screened the film, for example, in front of like 4,000 people in China at once. Wow. Okay, uncensored. Okay?
I can't even imagine a cinema of 4,000 people.
Yeah, like, but it's China. That's normal. Like there, okay, and it was just an experience when you see people laughing at jokes. Okay, they find funny, and then you go to another country where they're laughing at different other types of jokes, and so on. So that's really something, and also to talk with the different audiences. And so on. It was always something quite fulfilling for myself, and I was really glad that I didn't give up. Like that.
And this kind of thing was completely unpredicted, right? Because you can predict what the cultural differences will be and who will laugh at which joke and who will get tense. I remember when we had this very famous Brazilian movie, Cidade de Deus, which was a very, I'm not sure if you're familiarized with it.
Of course I know. Like my first, just for you to know, if you check out the trailer for Divisions, just go on YouTube, type Divisions trailer.
Okay.
And it's like we based our film based on the Cidade de Deus.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So, well, that's very cool to know. Well, we'll have to make another talk then in the future when you come to Brazil and make these relations with Brazilian cinema and Luxembourg or your cinema. It would be a very good things to think for the future. But mentioning Cidade de Deus was just like that. It is very well known that this very violent and heavy movie had this very Brazilian humor. And when they displayed in Germany, it was like, oh my God, what are they doing? And when they display here in Rio de Janeiro, it's like, oh, this is so cool. This is so funny. It's like you can predict, and somehow your movie can touch different audiences. I was laughing at many parts of it, imagining myself as a foreigner in Europe, and well, how can you deal with these situations that the main character goes through? So I think not only the persons are characters there, but I see as well Luxembourg as a bit of a characters as well, because this is this fertile ground of meetings, of You mentioned Romanians. You can see, of course, Luxembourgish, and then you know there are a lot of descendants of Portuguese there. So this is something else that the stereotype of Luxembourg of big banks and big money would never show you. It's like how many other people are there, and how Luxembourg is a bit of a place of connection. So is it some correct, or even in the am I reading the movie in the right way, or am I just forcing my speech here?
No, but because Luxembourg is a very specific case, because first geographically, like we're stuck between France and Germany, two world powers. Okay, we have everything here in many languages, like street signs, like in German or French, for example. At school, we have like we speak like 4 languages really at school. Like if you go to school, like because for me in my case, like I went to public school, we learned so many different languages that it's a real luxury to have this. And also, if you see the population, we like half foreigners and half locals. Okay, so that's also something that's quite unique in the world. Okay, because I don't think there's any other country where you have this something like that, and where you really use the different languages in daily life for different things. So that's something that I always show in my films as well. Like for me, when in all of my films, I always try to have this, like to show how Luxembourg really is, and to break those stereotypes. Because
it's very successful in this.
Because with Sawah, that's really when you watch the film, like you will see there's so many stereotypes I wanted to play with. Okay, like everyone takes it. Like for me, I didn't care. Like stereotypes against everyone. Okay.
Yeah.
And some people told me, yeah, it's too dangerous. You're gonna get a lot of enemies and so on. I don't care. Like, what do I have to lose? Okay, either people like it or they don't. Okay, like.
Yeah. You might have a lot of new friends as well.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the perfect example.
Yeah. So for me, I'm really lucky that I can do that, to have this freedom to tell my stories as I want, and then people do whatever they want with it.
And I think we're going already to the end of our talk, and then we'll open for questions and interviews for the public. But I would like to ask you, and I have to ask you, Brazilian public still haven't seen it. It's premieres on 10 p.m. here in São Paulo time. So are there any trivias, anything that people should really try to find out in the movie? Something that they are gonna, if they don't pay attention, they might go through it, but if they do pay attention, it gets a lot better in the experience. Is there something that you would point out, or just sit back and enjoy?
Like there's a few funny things actually. There's a few lines in Portuguese in the film. Okay.
That's true.
Yeah, there's a few lines in Portuguese.
I was very surprised with that.
And there's also a small mention to Brazil as well.
Oh, I have to rewatch it.
Rewatch. There's a very small thing to Brazil. And also, if you look closely, not people they know how I look like, they will find me also in one scene where I do a small cameo.
Okay. So, well, I'll have to rewatch it today at the premiere, and then find out all of this Brazil there, find you out. And are there any projects you're currently working that you would like to talk about? I'm not sure if you're working with something global, or if you're just promoting Sawah now.
Like actually, I'm really, really lucky with Sawah, because it opened so many doors. Because I don't know if you know, like the film, we sold it to Netflix in Europe and the Middle East.
Oh, so awesome.
It was the first film from Luxembourg to be on Netflix. So thanks to this opened a lot of different doors. So actually, I just finished shooting, even though in those crazy situations as we are at the moment. Now over the summer, I just shot a series, like a comedy series, which is similar to Sawah. Okay, and where I was able even to put characters from that series into characters from my film into that series as well. So that's I've just finished shooting. It's going to be released beginning of next year, and I'm also preparing my next feature film, which will be a global film as well. Like I'm traveling all over the world, even your side of the world, but more up north, where
great
a bunch of the stories happening in Canada. And there, if everything goes well, I'll shoot it next summer, like this coming summer. And it's also same type of subjects as in Sawah, about identity, languages, traveling, and so on. Where also there's a lot of personal things about myself in the story. And I'm very lucky because a few weeks ago, our Filmfund they agreed to greenlight, to give us funding for a series based on Sawah. So I'm currently writing a spin-off series using the characters from the film. Okay, and so we know we're currently writing, and also this will shoot it hopefully next year.
So Sawah is not just the producing and distributing. Sawah is not the end of the line. It's actually the opposite of it.
This is the opposite. I was super lucky that I will not have to wait again 5 years to create my next film. Okay, and lots of frustration and so on. Like, it opened so many doors, and I'm super happy and grateful that I can do this, and that I got the trust from the people who are supporting me, including the Filmfund in Luxembourg. And so you will hear a lot over the next few months here. So I'm really happy, and where it's all going.
It will be a pleasure to have a talk again about your next project. I'd like to ask the audience if you have any questions. Please do type at the chat. It doesn't need to be in English. I can translate it to English. You can type it in Portuguese. Do not type in Egyptian because I won't translate.
I don't read Arabic, so I only speak it. So.
Yeah, but well, if anyone has any questions, it's the best place, the best time for it. I think I'll open the camera. I guess Jan Eichbaum, the Consul General, would like to speak a few words. So it will be great to have him. Just a second, because I need to enable it. So no. Só e vídeo. Jan,
very good. Adolf, Moyen.
Moyen.
Thank you very much for your first availability and this fascinating story, and I hope this is the start of I've been doing a lot of bridging between Luxembourg, much more before we had an embassy. So this has been my day-to-day activity in bridging Luxembourg, Europe, and Brazil. And one of the things, and due to Daniel, and I think this teamwork, I think we've been lacking much more on the cultural aspects of this. So I think this is the first time actually we are, having the honor and pleasure to listen to you, have this opportunity to chat with you, and listen to this. All looking forward to see your movie in a couple hours from now. But I think I want to thank you very much, and and also whenever all this travel, we have a vaccine or whatever, that coming over to Brazil, because this is a very interesting place, and for movie makers, specifically in a city of like São Paulo, where we have a lot of movies happening, because of, like, Luxembourg, it's a very cosmopolitan city. So I give, for instance, São Paulo, it's a city with over almost 15 million people living in the city. That's when you compare this to Luxembourg, it's a little. But anyway, so São Paulo is, it's the largest Japanese colony out of Japan live in São Paulo. Then you have there are no other city but besides Shanghai with so many German companies as São Paulo. The more so you have a melting pot of culture. So I think this is also to formally, establish a contact with you. I think this, my idea is to organize with Daniel that we have, like directors, movie directors in Brazil to make, so we make a little chat among film directors. One of which I thought was very interesting is with the very directors I know and good is always the stress of going after the funds. That's, the film you do in 3 weeks or 1 week or, depending on the, but the hard part is always going. And, so we have two things in, which approaches us also. Adolf was also the name of my grandfather.
Oh, really?
And my son also, my young son is also in the production and film business. So I think, as also Luxembourg he was born in Brazil. So for sure, and he couldn't make it today because they had a meeting to prepare something, one of the television channels. So, but for sure, I want to bring you guys together and see that we can do common projects here, and but anyway, so this was actually to welcome you. Thank you very much for your availability. I know it's already almost 11 o'clock in Luxembourg, and thank you very, and we have here the group of people who are very into art. And I think this is one of the bridges we want to really strengthen is the part of cultural and art and movies, in this bridge. And thank you very much for
you're welcome.
making yourself available. And we're really looking forward to seeing your film.
No, thank you very much. But Luxembourg has a lot to offer. Really, we have. Pretty sure So, okay, also in film, we have a lot of interesting films. Okay, that a lot of people unfortunately not get to see. Okay, because it's really hard to market ourselves because we're so small. Okay, so.
Has the streaming business, is this a good business model for film producers and directors? Is this a market which specifically at the moment where you are going out filming, and so is this a good market for you?
Because I was actually quite lucky because my film was meant to be released all over Europe now in April this year, and because of the whole pandemic and so on, it got cancelled. And at the same time, Netflix came and they took the rights for Europe and the Middle East for my film, for example. So it was luck. And but the thing is, on a financial level, it's it's interesting, yes, but it's still new. Okay, because in Europe, there's lots of public funding in films, for example, and Netflix, they come there as a private company, so they have to deal with all the different public funds to find some sort of agreements. Because the problem, even though we all know that streaming will be somehow the future and everyone is so into it, but in Europe we still have this mentality of going to the cinema and auteur to auteur films, festivals, and so on. So Netflix, they come and disrupt somehow the whole industry. But at the same time, I know, for example, in France or Germany, they did a lot of agreements with different public funds where they co-finance films and they share the rights then. Okay, because Netflix, when they take a film on, they usually take when they create Netflix original films, they take for the whole world. Okay, so for every medium. So basically, they pay you one amount and that's it, and the film belongs to them. So that could be interesting, but in Europe they try to protect themselves, so that streaming is still a power there that could be a source of funding and also for visibility, but also we keep rights as producers for different other things, like a cinema, for example, or festivals and so on. So
interesting. And for the fact that you're a Luxembourger, was this helped you on getting the fund? Was this being you're a Luxembourg citizen, was this, or could anyone worldwide apply? Or is there a specific fund to promote Luxembourg films in specifically, or how did this work?
Like for me, because I'm Luxembourgish, so yeah, so it's a bit easier, let's say it like that, but it's still difficult. Okay, so they don't give money like that. Okay, so you need to have a strong script, strong team, and so on. So it's something that's where they really try to push local filmmakers. But I don't know if you know, but Luxembourg is also a very big co-production company, co-production country.
Yes.
We do lots of co-productions with lots of different countries all over the world, basically. Okay, where they come on board and co-finance projects. And also a few years ago, they started actually a very interesting type of financing where they co-finance projects coming from countries that are not used to do co-productions with Luxembourg. Like, for example, Brazil. Okay, I don't think there's ever been a real co-production between Brazil and Luxembourg, for example. Okay, but with this new fund, they give less money, but for projects where there's like a director on board who has some experience, where we can see that the film could go somewhere. So they help to co-finance that as well. Mm-hmm. So there's lots of different ways, but film financing in like all over the world is the same, basically. Okay, like it's really difficult. Okay, at those times, because you need the contacts, you need to have the right project, the right talent, and so on. Mm. So it's something that's it's difficult because so it takes time. Like
and is this something you yourself have to do, or you have professionals who know know how to give you the tips how to prepare a good participation on a bid, or do you have to? Is this a work you yourself had to go after and prepare all the bureaucracy and or did you have a team doing this?
Like at the beginning, I was doing everything myself, really, because I couldn't find a producer who could really believe in me or understand my vision of things. So I decided to become my own producer. So that made it even harder because I had to build relations. I had to build the experience. I had to get the trust from people and so on. And over time, now I have my company is quite established now in Luxembourg. I have people who work for me, okay, who take care of a lot of things. So we share projects between each other. We decide together what we're going to do. We see on the financing level, on the legal level, and so on, like how we're going to do all those things. So that's really something that we built over years. Like I've been in this business for the past, let's say, 15 years somehow. And I experience everything from all the highs to the lows. So I know how it feels like when you're really in some financial trouble, but also know how it feels when you have the luxury to make projects like Sawah, for example, like to have really luxury, so I can do things as I want it to be. So it's something that takes time. Like really.
Very interesting.
There's one question from the public. Thank you, Jerome. Jerome Miller is asking, does the film has the goal to promote Luxembourgish culture and share live aspects in order to attract people and companies to interact with our economical and cultural environment? If so, I would like to hear a bit about this. Adolf, is there any goal to promote culture and the life aspects? I can guarantee that one of the ideas of this program, of this series, Luxembourg In, is exactly this. So this is what we are arranging in this kind of meeting, to talk a bit more, to be more in contact with Luxembourgish. So in our side as a consulate, and in my side as institutional relations, that is my aim. But I would like to hear, but the question is more about, does the film has this goal?
Like for me, to be honest with you, that's why like I have this freedom that I can tell whatever I want. Like no one really tells me do this or do that. Okay, if I want to tell this, I'll tell it, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, okay, I'm an artist. Okay, so I decide. I don't take any position basically.
Yeah.
And also the people who funded me, who helped me with my project, they never said you have to do this or do that. Okay, because that's not their role. But for me, I'm just doing it from the heart. I want to promote Luxembourg somehow because I really love my country. I always use it for my own thing. Let's say it like if you hear a guy called Adolf El Assal coming from Luxembourg, it makes it exotic. So people could be more interested to see, okay, oh, that's interesting. Let's watch it. Let's hear like it's something. Okay, and that could also open doors for other filmmakers or other people like in art. So people, they discover, okay, we have also artists here, not only banks. We have stories to tell. Okay, it could be anywhere. Like it could, and then this could then open doors for any other things. But the film is really not something that I want to use to promote the country. Okay, in a good or bad way. It's not something that interests me. For me, it's more to tell a story and maybe change the perception. Okay, like how people, they perceive our little country. Okay, but that's something more personal. It's not my main goal to do it. That's not the goal also of course, maybe the film funds, they see it in a different way. Okay, like if they help me promote, okay, or you guys, when you help me promote my film, and okay, it's your job, okay, that you use my artwork to promote the country and maybe build things, but it's not my job or my goal to do it. So that's why like I feel very lucky that I can really do whatever I want.
Yeah.
So
sometimes we have common interests. So yes, whenever we want to pass the message of, well, this is a great place, or if you have this message that comes from you as an artist that helps us to promote Luxembourg, it is a pleasure to join these forces and to promote. But as an artist, we know it's not that simple of we do this to have this very specific and explicit goal. Well, I'm saying from a place of a heart as well. I'm majored in contemporary art, so I know very well how an artist works. But as a member of the consulate, it's an honor to promote the work of a Luxembourgish and to promote how diverse the country is, how connected we are, and well, to have a chance to chat and to talk about something very cool, very happy in this, especially in the moment we're living, where we need some happiness, we need some humor, and we need to, and culture is, I think, the best place to bring together people, bring together even people that you wouldn't even imagine that has the same ideas that you or the same feelings that you. So this has been a great conversation. I don't want to abuse your
I have time. I don't mind.
Because
if you want to talk more, I'm here. So if you're,
I want just, if you allow me, I just want to just add a little bit to what Daniel said and to what Adolf said. I think our aim is, you know, specific in the time we live, and specifically Brazil, Adolf, has been going to hard times here. You know, I think the second in terms of death rate. I think this is a very unequal country in terms of, you know, basic. You know, there are something like 20 to 25 million people who you know, do not have the basic necessity, or you know, to eat. You know, I'm not even talking about health, but to eat. So this is a very diversified country. And we see with all, you know, so everybody now still, you have a very difficult government at the moment for Brazil, which in the last, you know, 30 years never experienced a government like that, you know, where Trump is an example of, you know, and culture is misused or disregarded, you know, that people who still in the government think that we have a flat earth, you know, and all, you know, and so I think this concept actually we're trying here with you today is something we want to promote, because I think by the end of the day, I think culture should be a basic necessity like food, like health, and you know, and I think this is the only way we can, you know, not only at this moment. So this conversation with you, I think it's very important, because also on the Luxembourg side, not many people know around the world that Luxembourg is very much into, you know, they're very hidden services of Luxembourg, which nobody, you know, Luxembourg is the largest, you know, the largest private company in satellites, for instance.
Of course, of course, of course.
You know, so this, so I think we would like, and I think this is like also a little bit talking to you. I think if we can be of help to you in promoting your film here, you know, we want to do this here, and one of Daniel's idea was that we have a, you know, basically a movie club. You know, that we now with the streaming everything, that we can show movies. There's a very interesting app. I don't know if you know it, Criterion app. I don't know if you heard of that app in the movies. It's called Criterion, and it's very, very interesting, because that's the concept of film, where you have, like, I don't know, let's, you know, Martin Scorsese, your colleague, you know, and then he,
of course, yeah.
Yeah, so he says, these are the movies I like, and if you like these movies, I recommend you this movie here. And so he makes, so it's called Criterion Collection. If you look it up, I think it's a really nice, and I think this is a part of where you film also. So anyway, it was much more, as we said, you know, it's a talk here, but I think this starting with you and able to promote a film where we have quality time with the director explaining, you know, and so this is something we would like to really start this. I think this pandemic also helped us to, you know, make it something different. You know, you make it something different. I know how much time we spent in front of the computer, but this idea today with you is exactly the idea to promote Luxembourg in the cultural aspect, and then the film, obviously, we're looking forward. I think I want to thank you to, you know, and this is a very good example for us, and where everybody actually can make questions and talk, and, you know, so this is a bit the concept. Thank you.
There's just There's one intervention by Jerome here, who's applauding now. I think he really enjoyed your speech, Jan. But Jerome said, thank you for the attention to this question. I guess this is a point to consider in how we promote the country in a way by sharing its strength, and how the world and Luxembourg itself can benefit by interacting somehow, if it's on a cultural and any other aspect. Well, I think we're going with a great tone of how culture and how cinema joins us. I think there are many possibilities for us to keep talking about culture, about bringing people together. I would really like to thank Adolf for his availability, for participating the movie, the film festival, and I'll again remember, please don't miss the premiere of the movie. Sawah is premiering today at 10 p.m. At the platform from the São Paulo state government called Cultura em Casa, which translates roughly to culture at home. So I'm posting again the link at the chat here. And of course, you will hear a lot about this next days. Adolf, thank you very much for your time. Jan, as well, thank you very much. It honors us.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you. I think congratulations both. Just to let you know, Adolf, that when this film festival, which is a festival for the whole world, it actually came out in the physical magazines and also inside. So they're announcing this, and the announcement was exactly your film. They were saying Luxembourg, you know, from all the other countries. So they had like a specific, you know, ad to announce this festival, and it was Sawah who was actually, you know, being mentioned, you know, like comments. So just to, and thank you, Danielle. And I think let's arrange for a talk with us and see how we can, you know, help you on the Brazilian market here to bring this.
Super
Thank
cool.
you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Daniel, congratulations on the initiative. Very much, very nice.
Thank you. Adolf, I'll send you the clipping about the highlights of Sawah, and you know, this exotic idea that you were talking about works very well. So
Okay.
I hope it converts to more public watching the movie today.
Ah, nice. Super cool. Well, thank you very much.
Bye bye. Thank you very much.
Vielmals
merci. Ja?
Keep in touch. Gleichfalls. Bis dann. Ciao.
See ya. Ciao.